ready for some football. I don't know about you. Who else could it be but your man Lou? Yeah.
Who else could it be but me, your man, Louie T? Welcome to Sunday Night Football Overtime. Bears, Packers, NFC North family business. You know how the family do it. Yeah, we do know how the family do it. Now, I'm sick of this shit. So let me tell you something right off the bat. I need the NFL to stop doing this. They force feed us Packers, Bears every single year as if it's something we're clamoring for. This rivalry has been dead a long time. Okay? This rivalry has been dead a long time. I get that it's the longest running rivalry in NFL history. I get that it may have some sentimental value to some. Chicago's a major draw. So is Aaron Rodgers. You put the two together. Makes a lot of sense. I get it. But we're sick of watching this every year. It's never close. I'd rather watch Minnesota, Green Bay, and you do that most of the time anyway. Hell, at this point, I'd rather watch Detroit, Green Bay. I don't need to see Chicago and Green Bay go at it on primetime television once a year. I don't. You can find another way to get Chicago on television, and they're going to get more primetime games than they deserve because obviously they get the one with the Packers. They're going to be on Thursday night against Washington in week 6. I don't need to see these Bears but one time, and I don't want it to be against Green Bay. Find someone else for them to play. Put them on Thanksgiving. That's perfect. Put them on Thanksgiving against Detroit, and you can kill two birds with one stone. I don't need to see this game again because it's the same shit every year. Packers start slow. Oh, Bears get off to a fast start. Maybe this could be the night. By the time we get to the end of the game, Packers win by 2-3 touchdowns. It was never close in the second half. And if Aaron Rodgers doesn't have a missed snap or a missed handoff, I should say, with A.J. Dillon, if there's not a botched snap that hits the rookie receiver as he's coming across in motion that kills a drive, this game is probably 31 or 34-7. Please stop putting this on national television. We don't need to see Packers Bears. I don't want it on Thursday. I don't want it on Sunday. I don't want it on Monday. Stop putting this game on national television. Please and thank you. With that said, Aaron Rodgers and the Packers get back on track, get their first win of the season, 27-10 over the Chicago Bears. The run game was a huge impact tonight for the Packers. Aaron Jones, who a lot was made of him not having a ton of touches last week in the loss to Minnesota, bounced back in a major way. 18 touches for him, 170 total yards and 2 touchdowns, including 138 of it on the ground. He had averaged 8.8 carries, 15 carries, 132 yards. They had no answer for him tonight. Excuse me. It seemed like at times he was a man amongst boys out there. And actually, I thought both of the running backs, not A.J. Dillon, but the running back on the opposite side, David Montgomery, I thought both of the running backs were the star of the show tonight for their respective teams. I love David Montgomery. We'll get to him in a second when we talk about Chicago. There's not a lot to talk about with this game, to be honest with you. But the Packers, they made it a point of emphasis to run the football in this particular game. And I don't know if this will be a trend for the season or not, but it kind of feels like Aaron Rodgers is going to be more of a passenger this year. Or you know what? I think that's a blanket statement that I shouldn't make. I think he's going to be a bit of a passenger early while these young receivers figure it out, because you better enjoy Samuel Watkins while you can, because he's going to be hurt probably here in the next 3 to 4 weeks. And so at some point, Randall Cobb's probably going to get hurt too. And you're going to have to rely on Romeo Doubs. You're going to have to rely on Christian Watson. And you have to rely on these young receivers to carry the day. It's good that Alan Lazard is healthy. He needs to stay healthy. He makes a huge difference. Massive difference for this offense. But so does Samuel Watkins being healthy. This was all veterans. They rarely threw the ball to the youngins tonight. And I think Rodgers would prefer it that way right now until they figure some shit out. So this is going to be their method. You know, the method to their madness is having the veterans kind of carry the day, run the football, and kind of minimize the impact that the passing game has. So in essence, you're minimizing what Aaron Rodgers does. But at the same token, the Bears couldn't stop the run tonight. What happens when the run, and this is what happened last week, when the run isn't working and it's not as a big a part of your success, and you have to throw the football to these young guys who don't know the right route, or they're dropping the football, then what happens? Again, I think the veterans are going to be a huge part of what transpires with the Packers. And you saw that tonight. Samuel Watkins was phenomenal. Randall Cobb is going to be a chain mover. And, I think they need to get Robert Tonyan a little bit more involved as well if you want to minimize the impact of the young guys. And then obviously the running backs are a huge part. Even in the passing game, Aaron Jones is a big part of that as well. So Rodgers, I thought he just kind of managed the game. Only 5 incompletions, a modest game for him, honestly. He kind of just managed the game, really didn't want to do anything foolish. And even in saying that, they had the the handoff, the botched handoff that the Bears recovered, and that almost allowed them back into this game. They also had the snap that hit Christian Watson coming in motion, and that killed the drive. And so those mistakes ultimately led to the Bears being in this game and almost coming within. I thought it was actually a touchdown. I thought you could see the laces on the ball, and I thought you could see it lined up with the plane, but it was just too close, so they weren't going to overturn it. But literally inches from that thing being a one-score game and the Bears being right back in this thing. At the end of the day, the Packers were the superior team. I do want to talk about the defense for a second, because there are a lot of pieces on that defense that I really, really like. I'm a massive fan of Quay Walker. I watched him in week 1 versus Minnesota, and he did get a little banged up in that game, but he was flying around. You saw it a little bit more tonight. They've got some athleticism on defense, whether it's up front on that D-line with guys who are just stout but can also move, like Jaron Reed or Kenny Clark. But then you also have, the guys off the edge, Preston Smith and Rashawn Gary. I remember thinking this guy was going to suck and be a bust, and he's turned out to be a really quality player for them in Green Bay. And then, the secondary, Jair Alexander had the interception. And I honestly want to see him start to travel with the opponent's best receiver. Like last week, Justin Jefferson is digging in your ass, and Jair Alexander's across on the other side of the field. That makes absolutely zero sense to me. You pay him all this money. He should be in there trying to take Justin Jefferson out of the game and make Adam Thielen or someone else beat you. So I'd really, truly like to see them, same thing with Jalen Ramsey. They all of a sudden now he's not going with the other team's best receiver. He's just in the slot. He's moving around. That's cute until somebody digs in your ass and you want to know, why isn't he covering the other guy that's killing you? I kind of feel that way about Jair Alexander. Like last week, you're getting your brains bashed in by Justin Jefferson. He's got 130 yards receiving at halftime, and Jair Alexander's nowhere in sight. I don't understand that. That doesn't make any sense to me. Please make it make sense. But anyway, the Bears don't have anybody he needs to check. I mean, Mooney's their only guy. Justin Fields threw 11 passes tonight. Like last week, it was excusable that he only threw 17 passes. It was a monsoon. The weather was perfectly fine tonight. Yeah, it was a little drizzled at one point. It was a dry night for the most part. He threw 11 passes. That's 28 passes in 2 weeks. Like, take the kid gloves off of this dude, okay? and let him throw the damn football. The Bears' offense is a joke. It's anemic. It's hard to watch. And until they give Justin Fields the autonomy to go out there and sling it around, and again, they didn't do him any favors. I've already said this multiple times. They didn't give him enough weapons in the offseason. Their strength is the running game and David Montgomery and Khalil Herbert. So I understand why they want to lean on the run game, because they don't have anything at receiver. They don't have a lot of weapons at tight end. So they don't have the skill guys that make a true difference. That said, Justin Fields has to throw the football more than 11 times, especially in a game that you were trailing by multiple scores for most of it, especially in the second half. The Packers scored 21 points in the second quarter, so you were down by a significant amount at halftime, and you come out and, yeah, the opening drive was keyed by the run, and then you kind of got away from that, and then you wanted to get back to that, and then you had a little bit of success with that, and I understand that. But you're not going to win games with David Montgomery going off and you still can't put the ball in the end zone, because that's what happened tonight. David Montgomery had over 100 yards rushing. I'd like to say that he probably averaged about 6 or 7 yards a pop. Man, is he good. I love me some David Montgomery. My goodness. 15 carries, 122 yards, 8 yards per pop for David Montgomery. He carried the load, and you still only scored 10 points. So my whole argument here is, and let me just say this too. I know I'm all over the place, and I'm almost done. If you're gonna run that kind of a play from the half-inch line, the half-yard line, or whatever, how about you just put David Montgomery back there and wildcat it? Somebody that's a little bit more physical, tougher, yards after contact, going to find a way to get that ball over the end zone. How about you just run it with David? If you're going to do that, if that's going to be what you're going to do, and you want another guy, you want an extra blocker in the fold, put the fullback back there next to him, and you just and they can know that this is what's coming, because David Montgomery's still going to get you the yard that you need for the touchdown. Well, I put it in the hands of Justin Fields. If you're not going to get under center and let him quarterback sneak it, if you're going to just snap it gun style from the shotgun all the way back to the 5 when you're at the half-yard line, then why not just let it be David Montgomery? Again, make it make sense to me, please. Help me. Help me. I don't understand that. Anyway, this Bears defense, it's a shame, because actually it's a good unit. I like a lot of the young pieces that they have. It was a nice play early in the game by Kyler Gordon. Eddie Jackson seems to be, getting back into form. I like Jalen Johnson. I just think that it's a really quality group of young guys. I was one of the biggest Travis Gibson fans when he was coming into the league. I wanted Washington to draft him so bad in the mid-rounds. Now, he went a little bit earlier than I thought he was going to go, but rightfully so. I said, man, this dude's got a ton of talent when he was coming out of Tulsa. And I said, if he falls into the right hands, this guy could be dangerous. How many sacks did he have tonight? 2 or 3? Travis Gibson, he looked good last week against San Francisco. He looked even better tonight. Travis Gibson had 2 sacks tonight. I like that kid a lot. I wanted Washington to draft him, but he wasn't even around. I think the Bears ended up snagging him. If I'm not mistaken, second round, definitely the third round. He was gone by then. I don't think he lasted to the 4th, which is when I thought he would get selected. But there's a lot of solid pieces on that Bears defense. I'm a big Roquan Smith guy as well. Just a lot of pieces. I thought the Jaquan Brisker pick was also a nice pick for the Bears. That's a good young nucleus defensively. Offensively, they got to do a lot of work, man. That defense is going to keep them in ball games, and they're going to make it hella competitive. But I just don't see them scoring enough points on a weekly basis to win. If the defense gets involved, creates a turnover or 2, shortens the field for the offense, yeah, they could win, some games. But if they're relying on the offense to hold up their end of the bargain, most weeks the offense isn't going to get it done. It's as simple as that. They're just not good enough. I don't love the play calling, but I do love me some David Montgomery. Man, is he good. He was outstanding tonight. All in all, the Packers, did what the Packers do. You know, Aaron Jones is such a huge part of their offense. He was magnificent tonight. Good to see Alan Lazard back out there. You know, you sprinkle in some of the young fellas, but it really was more about Aaron Jones, Alan Lazard, Randall Cobb, and Samuel Watkins. And those are all veteran players. And that's, I think, what it's going to take early on in this season is for the veterans to step up while the young guys continue to learn on the job. You know, there's a lot of on-the-job training for the Packers. So I thought it was a really solid night of play calling for Packers head coach Matt LaFleur. I mean, I told you their offense, you know, and all of those guys that run a similar offense, Kevin O'Connell, similar, and even though they're more brute force in Cleveland, Kevin Stefanski kind of comes from that same tree there. You know, it's all kind of the same. It all kind of blends and bleeds together. It was a good play. It was a good mix of play calling tonight from Matt LaFleur, but I'm not entertained by the Green Bay Packers. So I don't need to see Packers Bears anymore. And I know it's going to fall on deaf ears, and they're going to do this shit again next year, week 6. We're going to get this same stinking ass game. Let it be on Monday night at least. If you're going to force feed us this shit, at least put it on a Monday, right? Anyway, I digress. Let's get to the comment section. It's probably going to be a quick one. Big Money Sonny, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Big Money Sonny, writes, or thank you for being a member of the MOBB, writes, top 5 did some top 5 things, but we still took an L. Our defense is cheeks, and sadly, I can't blame JDR any longer. We just don't have the ballers on that side of the ball. Salutes, brother. Again, I'm not absolving Jack Del Rio of, you know, blame, because there's enough blame to go around for everyone, but I think too much of it falls in his lap, and not enough people hold the players accountable. That's the thing that really bothers me, is we always just go straight to the coaching staff. Oh, this coach needs to be fired. This coordinator needs to be fired. And what about the players? And I get it. You can't fire 11 dudes. So the easy thing to do is just fire the one dude that you can replace and hope that that does something. But I don't, in this case, I don't think that's the problem. I think these guys on the field need to be held accountable for not doing their jobs adequately. And that's where I think there's a disconnect. But it was funny because I'm watching the Cardinals and the Raiders game. And a guy that a lot of Washington fans wanted, he wasn't there when we were drafting that year, so it doesn't matter. But the linebacker from Tulsa, the big thick linebacker, forgot his name. Anyway, the Cardinals drafted him like 14th overall. I think we had like the 17th pick or something like that year. Anyway, he gets beat by Hunter Renfrow over the middle of the field in overtime. And instead of pouting and sulking after he got beat, falls down, he gets up, he rolls over, he gets up and chases Hunter Renfrow down. And you know what he goes for? Goes for a strip. You know what happens? The ball comes out. Now, they didn't recover it, but that's a dog-like play, okay? That's a baller play. Our guy would have just went straight for his legs and just tried to tackle him. No, he's like, F that. I got beat. I'm pissed off. Zaven Collins, that's his name. Zaven Collins. Got beat. Decided, you know what? F this. I'm going to go for the strip. And hit his damn arm as he was trying to hit the ball. Ball pops out. Raiders ended up recovering. Hell of a job by Foster Moreau to dive on that thing. And then 2 plays later, Hunter Renfrow fumbles again, and this time it's scooped up and they run it for a touchdown. That's what dogs do. They go after the rock. We don't do that. That's so frustrating to me. You watch other teams, and this is what a lot of Washington fans don't do, so they don't have a great sense of what it's supposed to look like. But if you are like myself, a fan of the NFL, and you watch all these other games and all these other teams, you see no less than 4 or 5 attempts at the ball per game by most defenses that give a damn. I don't see any. I don't recall a single poke at the ball a single strip at the ball. None of that. You know, the only time I ever see someone go after the ball on our team is if we're literally holding a guy up, 2 or 3 defenders holding a guy up, and like the 4th guy will come over and decide to try to rip the ball out, which is too late now because normally forward progress is stopped any damn way. It's just sickening, man. Our shit doesn't look like everyone else's. That's the part that really pisses me off. Big Money Sonny, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Big Money Sonny, double up, thank you for doubling up. Writes, I don't give a F. We are taking that dub next Sunday. Sounds good to me. We'll see. I mean, I got a lot of stuff to sort out. I haven't watched anything. I usually save all my Washington Commanders, post-game pressers and all of that stuff for after this show. I've got my glass of wine. I just finished the glass, and I'm going to consume some more. And I'm going to sit down, fire up the pressers, see what everybody had to say, and then we will move on from there. Got a lot of injuries from this game. Hopefully they're not significant. And, see what the Eagles do tomorrow. Titans and Bills play as well. So it's a nice little doubleheader on I shouldn't call it a doubleheader because they're not back-to-back. They're actually going to be concurrent. But it should be a nice little, Monday of football. And see what the Eagles do. The Giants are 2-0. The Cowboys won a game that I didn't think they were going to win. Like Cincinnati, you had one job to do. What the hell? So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what the Eagles do. And then now you turn your attention to Philadelphia. See if you can't get a win in the division. The crazy part is, as gloom and doom as it felt in the moment, obviously there's overreaction by most of the fan base after one loss. That's what our fan base does. And they're probably not alone in that. I'm not a part of anybody else's fan base, so I can't talk about what other fan bases do, but I'm pretty sure there's a lot of overreaction. I'm pretty sure Cincinnati's losing their shit right now in that fan base. Carolina Panthers fans are losing their shit right now. They're 0-2, right? That's what fans do. You overreact. Cleveland fans are probably pissed off. They blew a game to the Jets, and the season's over now. You get that, right? So I don't want to do that. That's because that's not how I feel. I don't feel like the season's over. I'm disappointed, right? Super, super disappointed in the play. But I can't wait to watch all these other games because so many games didn't go the way. Like, I think I might have lost 10 games already this week. The NFL is blowing my mind right now. Week 2 was just insane. The Dolphins came back. I can't even wrap my brain around that. The Jets came back and beat the Browns. I gotta see what the hell happened in the Cowboys game because I'm flabbergasted that the Bengals couldn't go and beat Cooper Rush. I watched the very end of the Raiders game, but they were up 23-7 at one point, and they blew that lead. I really don't know what happened there. All I know is I watched the overtime, and I saw both fumbles, and I'm like, oh, my God. The one team that I had left that I, thought could win, because it was rough. I looked at all these games and all these comebacks, and none of them went in my favor. And the one game that I'm thinking I'm going to have a chance to win, they fumble the ball and it gets scooped up and he's going for a touchdown. And then that clown made it a lot closer than it needed to be because he threw the damn football. Like, when are these guys going to learn? Like, make sure if you want to throw the ball, you're excited, make sure you're 2-3 steps in the end zone before you fling that bitch. Don't barely cross the goal line and then throw the football. Like, these dudes they kill me not having the presence of mind and to make sure that you cross the plane of the goal line before you do some stupid shit. Literally, they're looking at this and, the commentators kill me because I guess I'm at home, so it's easy. But you should be all over this. It's like, well, Gene, let's bring in Gene's territory. Gene, I mean, he's not down. It looks like a catch. Gene, and Gene's clueless too. Normally, they're all over this stuff. Gene's like, Well, normally you look at every aspect of the play. You know, did he secure the football? Did he make a football move? None of that shit's in question, Gene. Dude caught the ball, turned up the field, broke a tackle, turned around, got smashed, and the ball came out. We're not talking about if he caught it or if he was down. He's clearly not down. He clearly caught the football. He clearly fumbled the ball. This is all about this clown running it back and throwing his shit and barely passing the goal line before he decided he was going to disregard the football. And now his whole team has to stand and look up at the damn Jumbotron to see if he actually crossed the goal line, and he barely crossed it. Damn, these players are slow sometimes. I get it, you're excited. Cross the damn goal line first. Anyway, I digress. Big Money Sonny, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Big Money Sonny writes, Luck is baked, roasted, and fricasseed. Too bad our secondary was a lot worse. You still co-signing on baked ZD Lou? Yeah, I am. I mean, again, Kendall Fuller, and on our defense, Kendall Fuller's play is like towards the very bottom of the problems defensively. He's not great, far from it. But if we're just talking about the secondary in general, his play is probably, if there are 5 things wrong with the secondary, and it's probably more than that, but let's just go with the number 5. It's a nice round number. If there are 5 things wrong with the secondary, Kendall Fuller's play is like number 4, if not 5. Okay? There's a lot more fundamentally wrong with what's going on in the secondary, specifically with the secondary. If you want to broaden this thing and widen the scope and talk about the entire defense, we could go on and on. We could make a laundry list, and he'd be at the very bottom of that laundry list. So you call him whatever you want. At the end of the day, he's not the least of our problems, but there's a lot more I can bitch and complain about defensively than Kendall Fuller. That's for sure. Big Money Sonny, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, my guy. Big Money Sonny writes, man, we can't even get these nuts jokes to make you smile now. I'm not happy right now. In order to get me to laugh, it's got to be something funny, and it's got to be something that hasn't been done 15 times, because I'm not in the mood for that shit today. I'm not in the ha ha he type of mood after losing the game. I'm pissed off. So it's gonna have to actually be something really funny and different. So that ain't gonna get me today. Says all good, Lou. I had us losing this game, believe it or not. We beating Philly. I didn't have us losing this game. I put a lot of stock into starting 2-0, and we didn't do it. And it wasn't just the fact that we didn't do it. It was the way we didn't do it. And so that's really disappointing for me. There is a silver lining. I've talked about it already, and that's what I'm going to hang my hat on. Big Money Sonny, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, my guy. Big Money Sonny writes, that Raiders game, though, Lou, I have friends out there that are diehard Raiders fans, and they all felt the loss coming. Dallas should have taken the L. I haven't watched that game, so I can't comment on what Dallas should or shouldn't have done. I heard that Michael Parsons was a man possessed, which doesn't surprise me, but I got to see it for myself. I got to see what the hell actually transpired. And what's crazy is I have it on record, and normally I watch Sunday night in another game that recorded simultaneously. I didn't even feel like watching another game. I was so dejected after our loss. I just wanted to watch the Sunday night game, and really I had no interest in Bears-Packers because I already knew the outcome of that game. I really didn't. I don't even have any interest in next Sunday night's game, believe it or not. The Broncos' offense is anemic. I can't wait to watch and see how they managed to barely scrape across 13 points against the Texans, but they're anemic offensively, and the 49ers no longer have Trey Lance, so I'm not excited to see Jimmy G. I was excited to see Trey Lance, and he broke his ankle today. He's out for the season. I know they're counting them they're lucky stars that they didn't trade Jimmy G away. They'd be screwed for the season, sort of like the Cowboys, except, Dak's not out for the entire year. But, I mean, hell, Cooper Rush is 2-0. I can sit here and talk all that shit I want to. He's 2-0 right now. Anyway, I can't believe that Cincinnati lost and they're 0-2. Anyway, Kevin the PRF. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Kevin the PRF writes, I know you called a tough road back to the AFC Championship for Cincy, but I didn't know they were going straight back to being the Bengals. I didn't know either. I said it was going to be tough. They're in a brutal division. Their entire division lost today. The Steelers lost, the Ravens lost, the Browns lost, and they lost. But the AFC in general is just tough. And I don't want to say that run that they had last year was lucky, but the run they had last year was lucky. And so if they would have had to play, well, they did play the Chiefs. If they would have had to play the Bills, they would have lost. And honestly, they were supposed to have fixed their offensive line. I got to watch this game, but last week, Joe Burrow was harassed in the game against Pittsburgh. And if they can't protect Joe Burrow, they're going to struggle on offense. Period. End of discussion. And the AFC got tougher. And so I just knew they were going to have to show and prove that they belong. I didn't expect them to be. I thought they would be 2-0 right now, honestly speaking. You got me. Hands up. You got me. I never would have thought the Bengals would be 0-2 right now. I didn't think the Giants would be 2-0 either. So, I mean, there's a lot of I didn't thinks that have occurred to this point that I didn't have. That's one of them, is the Bengals at 0-2. But it seems like they're going back to being the Bengals. Again, I got to watch the game. John Livingston, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, my guy. JL Smooth, thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, I'm completely stunned, brother. Lost for words, to say the least. I have a feeling that Rivera will bring someone in this week. You can probably guess who I'm thinking. By the way, do you see whose defense leads the NFL? I don't know whose defense leads the NFL. I would guess it'd be your Bills, but you've only played one game. But you were dominant in week 1 against the Rams. And I think you're going to be dominant again, tomorrow, or is it today? Yeah, tomorrow against the Titans. Because I told you guys before the season started, I thought that I feel like the Titans are going to stink this year. So they could easily start this season off 0-2, and looks like they're heading towards that. We'll see what Buffalo does tomorrow. But I would assume it's your defense, if I had to guess. But there have been some teams, and honestly, this early in the season, with how teams treat the preseason, yes, I'm doing that again. This is what you get. I put out a tweet earlier today, well, this evening, after I got off of the stream, because, obviously when I'm doing the stream, I have no idea what's transpired. So I had no idea the Dolphins came back. I had no idea what happened in the Giants-Panthers game. When I got on, it was 16-all. So I had no idea what happened there. I had no idea that the Browns came back, or the Jets came back and beat the Browns, or the Cowboys, ended up beating the Bengals. I had no idea what was going on. So, I mean, hell, the Falcons were giving the Rams all they could ask for. I got to watch that game to see. I already said after watching week 1, I said, man, I mean, if Marcus Mariota, I'm assuming Marcus Mariota is going to get injured at some point. I said, if he stays healthy, that offense isn't that bad, man. And sure enough, they were right there in that game with the damn Rams. And I got to watch and see what happened. But I came to the conclusion, and again, I say stuff like this all the time. And, somebody like, actually, Louie T, last year there were more 1-1 teams at this point than there are this year. And that might be the case. But I honestly feel like normally the league, after 2 weeks, there's a clear delineation between the haves and have-nots. And usually there's like 10 or 11 teams that are 2-0. There are 5 or 6 teams that are 0-2. And then the rest of the league is, 1-1. So usually I feel like there's like 15 to 16, somewhere in there, teams that are either 2-0 or 0-2. And then the rest of the league, the other 16 are 1-1. This year, it feels like maybe 8 or 9 teams are 2-0 or 0-2, and then the rest of the league, like 23 teams, 24 teams are 1-1. Now, I tried to do it in my head, but I kept getting distracted. But the Giants are 2-0, the Chiefs are 2-0, the Giants are 2-0, Chiefs are 2-0, the Dolphins are 2-0. I feel like I'm missing one more team that's 2-0. And then you got like all four. So you got Eagles and Vikings. Somebody's going to be 2-0 after that game. And the Bills have a chance to be 2-0. So you're going to have, more likely than not, 5 2-0 teams. I may be missing somebody. I'm going to go through the divisions real quick. The Giants are the only 2-0 team in the NFC East. In the NFC North, there are no 2-0 teams. The Vikings could be the only one if they win tomorrow. The NFC West, nobody is undefeated in that division. Seattle losing to San Francisco today. And in the NFC South, Tampa, that's the other team I'm missing, Tampa Bay. So Tampa Bay, Giants, Chiefs, and let's go through the AFC real quick. Bills have a chance to go to 2-0. Nobody else in the division has that. Everybody else in the division has a loss. And the Dolphins are 2-0. So you have the Giants, you have the Bucks, you have the Chiefs, you have the Dolphins. Buffalo has a chance to join them, and somebody will be 2-0 from the Eagles-Vikings game. So that's 6 potentially. AFC North, everyone lost today. AFC West, the Chiefs are the only 2-0 team in that division. In the AFC South, everyone has a loss in that division. So then you got the 0-2 teams. So they're not very many of those either. So I told you I thought the number was like 8, 9, maybe 10 max. And then the other 23, 22 teams are 1-1, which is crazy. So you've got in the NFC East, nobody's 0-2. In the NFC South, Carolina's 0-2. And Atlanta's 0-2. Then you have in the NFC North, nobody's 0-2 in that division. And then in the NFC West, nobody's 0-2 in that division. So you go to the AFC, and nobody's 0-2 in the AFC East because the Jets won today. No one's 0-2 in the AFC South because the Colts and the Texans tied, right? So the Jags and the Titans have a chance to be 0-2. So we'll throw them in the mix. In the AFC North, the Bengals are 0-2. That's a surprise. And in the AFC West, no one's 0-2. So you got a chance. There's 3 teams right now that are 0-2. You got a chance to have 4 if the Titans lose. Meanwhile, there are 4 2-0 teams, and there could be 6 if the Bills win and the winner of Eagles-Vikings makes it 6. So as I said, 10 teams that are either 2-0 or 0-2, and the other 22 teams in the league are 1-1. I don't think that's normal. And then my guy, Rapper Big Pooh, responded to my tweet, and he made a great point. He said, this is what you're going to get. This is the new NFL because of how teams treat the preseason. And when he said that, I said, you know what? That's a good point, because you're going to have teams that come out flat and allow teams to beat them that have no business beating them. And this is the new norm. Like, with teams disrespecting the preseason and treating it as if it doesn't exist, This is what the first 2 weeks of the season are going to be the de facto preseason for a lot of teams. Also, and I also said in response to that, however, I also believe the NFL did a great job of putting teams against each other that would allow for a team last year that sucked to get a win. Somebody had to win. Like, when's the last time the Jets, the Jags, and the Lions all won on the same day, and it wasn't week 17 or 18, the final week of the season? When's the last time all three of those teams won in the same week? I'd venture to say that hasn't happened very often over the last 10 years. That combination of three teams won all in the same day. The fact that the Jets aren't 0-2 and they're usually 0-2 right about now. The fact that the Jaguars aren't 0-2 and they're usually 0-2 right about now. The fact that the Lions aren't 0-2 and they're usually 0-2 right about now. And you look around, the Texans aren't 0-2. You know, without Deshaun Watson, that's their existence. Usually they're around 0-2 right now. And again, you just go around the league at teams that usually suck, but they don't suck right now. Or at least they're 1-1. I mean, there's small sample size, but it's just crazy to me. It's crazy to me. But anyway, I digress. I would guess it's your Buffalo Bills who leads the league in defense right now. Jason Rogers, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Uncle Jay, thank you for being a member of the MOBB Rights. Lou, still going off, and I am still here for it. I'm actually not going off, Uncle Jay. I'm cool, man. I told you, I got my glass right here. I've already drank some wine. That mellows me out. I'm going to sit out, going to pour me a nice tall glass. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to watch these press conferences, see what everybody had to say. I expect them to be a lot shorter than last week. Everybody's got a lot to say when you win. When you lose, it's usually a very abrupt and quick. So don't think it's going to be as long as last week, but I'm good now because I had a chance to process it. You know, I was able to put a positive spin on it. So I'm good mentally because when I think about the thing that I came into the season feeling like we were going to have to do to win, and they're actually holding up their end of the bargain, I feel like, okay, if we could get them to play 4 quarters instead of a half of a game, maybe we'll have a chance. It'd be nice, too, if special teams wasn't abysmal. They were absolutely horrid today. I'm going to need them to be a lot better than what they were today. But they can't be much worse. Short of a turnover, which they didn't have today, you know, or a blocked punt or something along those lines. Short of that, the special teams was as bad as it gets. So I can't imagine it being any worse than it was today. Obviously, you could miss kicks, you know, from a field goal perspective. But guess what? We haven't attempted a field goal all season because we're scoring touchdowns. Like, this offense is legit, so I feel good about that. That's what I'm hanging my hat on. Anyway. The Cubone, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, the Cubone, writes, good grief. What a week. Even if it's week 1, I can safely say Jacksonville is, even if it's 1 week, I can safely say Jacksonville is in first place in the AFC South. Duval! 8 straight. Hashtag 8 straight. 8 straight versus the Indianapolis Colts. And, man, did you put an exclamation point on that or what? With a 24-0 shutout of those clowns. I told you, I'm not going to do the whole, you know, Indianapolis Colts. Yeah, let's make sure that they suck so Wentz looks better thing. I'm not going to do that. But what I am going to do is look at Jim Irsay and say, this is what you wanted. This is what you asked for. Now, granted, the Colts had every receiver out imaginable in the game. I don't care. Matt Ryan was atrocious. Carson Wentz did a lot with less last year. Okay, so I don't want to hear that he didn't have any receivers. Neither did Carson Wentz last year. Figure it out. Throw to the tight ends, throw to the running backs. Don't make an ass out of yourself. But that's what everybody does in Indianapolis when they go to Jacksonville. They make an ass out of themselves. So that was fun to see. Anyway, I'm happy for you. I hope it lasts a little bit longer. I'm telling you right now, Tennessee's going to lose tonight. Tennessee's going to lose tonight. Texans stink. Colts stink. You might be hanging around first place for a little while, man. Don't you play somebody good, though? Kansas City? Is it Kansas City or is it the Chargers? It's the Chargers next week. Yeah. Justin Herbert, I don't know. Is he healthy? We don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Kevin Okak, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy Kevin O writes, how far away are my Packers from a Super Bowl this year, Lou? I think you're further away than you have been in a while. And here's the thing with the Packers. Defensively, I think you're really good. And if you stay healthy, and that's always been one of the problems is staying healthy. But if you stay healthy defensively, I think you can compete with most teams in the league. Your problem, I think, is going to be offensively. I think teams are going to be able to get after Aaron Rodgers. He got his ass whooped against Minnesota. He got sacked a bunch tonight, got hit a ton too. I got nervous when he ran and dove on that fumble. I was like, hey, what are you doing, Aaron? But he's got to protect the rock, right? Like he can't Cam Newton the bitch, right? And not go after it. But I'm like, yo, if he dives and somebody lands on his shoulder, we've seen Aaron Rodgers have freaky shit happen. Your season's done. I'm like, Aaron, be careful, man. All seriousness, though, all jokes aside, the offense to me is so dependent on the ability to run the football. And if you can't, and Aaron has to do it, I just don't know if the weapons are necessarily there for him to carry the team like he's done in the past. Now, the growth of your young receivers is going to go a long way in determining the success, really the ceiling of your season. The floor is always going to be better than most teams' floor because you got Aaron Rodgers. But the ceiling of your season is going to be very dependent upon the growth of those young receivers because, again, I can't stress this enough. Randall Cobb is 87. He's going to get hurt at some point. You know, Samuel Watkins is 83. He's going to get hurt at some point. And so you've got to know that you're going to have to rely on those young guys at some point during the season, and they're going to have to step up and play huge. You got Tampa Bay, if I'm not mistaken, this upcoming week. Tampa Bay is they're like the walking mass unit right now. Everybody's hurt for them. But if they get some of those guys back, and I don't know, maybe Mike Evans might get suspended after the little brouhaha that he helped cause in New Orleans. They may not have one of their best receivers, but we'll see. Tampa Bay knows how to play you, and they can get after Aaron Rodgers. I think you took a step back. Like you've been the number one seed in the NFC, home field advantage the last 2 years. I don't think that's going to be who you are this year. I'll say that much. I'm assuming you're going to make the playoffs. You're probably going to win your division. I can't say that for certain because Minnesota could be around. Like that could not be a fluke. It could be a thing that the Vikings are actually really good this year. That said, I don't think you're going to be the number one seed. You'll make the playoffs, but you won't be the number one seed. So I think you're a little bit further away than you were in the past couple of years. I think your window of opportunity isn't shut because you have Aaron Rodgers, but the prime opportunity to win it was 2 years ago, and you blew that. So even last year, it was wide open. The Cubone, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling it up. Who writes, a moment of silence for Trey Lance. He's not dead, Q. He's just hurt, man. That sucks. But it's football. It happens. I'm disappointed because I was really looking forward to watching a young fella. And you can't get better on the men. You can only get better by playing and taking reps and getting experience. And so this puts him behind the curve. He didn't play last year because of Jimmy G. He gets injured this year, and now he comes back year 3. And, a lot of pressure will be on him because then the 49ers, and they'll probably pick it up, but they got to make a decision after the season next year. Do they want to pick up his 5th-year option? Of course, you're going to pick it up. But if Jimmy G plays well again this year, it puts him in quite the quandary. So that's a tough break for Trey Lance. These Luckies, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, confession, I'm JL Smooth. Got you again, Lou. Yeah, right. I know my guy, John Livingston. Abdullah, Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Abdella writes, Lou, I remember last offseason I mentioned our corners problems, specifically speed, and you disagreed. Believe me now. Also, dude, Fuller and Jackson. So those guys can run. Fuller, I think, if you're talking about speed, is somewhat of a liability. He's not as fast as he once was. Jackson can run, but my problem with Jackson is his awareness. You know, it's not the greatest. And not just in pass defense either. Obviously, after today, he was terrible from a awareness standpoint in the run game and things of that nature. But I don't think speed, like, of course, Benjamin St. Juste isn't as fast as you would like him to be. But I don't necessarily think speed is the biggest issue with those guys. Just think technique. I think anticipation, those types of things, especially the anticipation, you can't teach that. Either you have it or you don't. Big Money Sonny, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Big Money Sonny writes, Lou, he says, come, Lou, cheer up. These nuts, salty snacks, brother. Nah, I got some planters that I'm going to eat along with my glass of wine, but no, I can't cheer up right now. Not quite yet. These luckies, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up, writes. Sorry, Lou, got to make you laugh somehow. You're pretty good at that, but I don't think you're going to get me tonight. Let's see. All right. Let's get to some hashtags. Ree says, Yo, Lou, one more for the good guys. It's like you said, eventually Jameis will shine his true colors, and he did today. You know it. And I'm sick because I was watching a game and then Sunday ticket cut out, so I didn't get to finish watching the game. So I don't even know what happened. I just know it was 3-0 for the longest. Then it was 3-3. And then Brady hit Bashad Perriman in the back of the end zone. And then next thing I know, Jameis Winston threw a pick and it's 17. And then I looked, it was 20-3. Like, what the hell just happened? It was just 3-3. So again, I got to watch it. I have no idea what happened. Reese says, Dennis Allen looks like a junior high PE teacher. Yeah, and I think he's one of the guys that likes to keep the pencil in his ear too. Yeah, I can see that. Absolutely. All right, I got a super chat. Q-Bone. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, the Q-Bone, writes, a part of me does want Herbert to play if he is healthy because he is one of the best QBs in the league, and it will be a great test for Jacksonville's defense that has been off to a great start with 5 interceptions, 2 forced fumbles, and 6 sacks. The defense, so again, that was another game that I started to watch, and then DirecTV Sunday Ticket just decided to go haywire on me. But I know I saw the first of the 3 picks that, Matt Ryan threw. I saw Josh Allen go into town. I think when I got cut off, he had 2 sacks already in the game. And he had forced a fumble, if I'm not mistaken. So, your defense is crazy because you were one of the worst teams last year in the league creating turnovers. And this year, they're coming in bunches for you. So it would be a great test for you if Herbert is healthy. I'd like to see what you would do against him. I'd like to think that they'll have Keenan Allen back. And so you probably get a full complement of all of their skill guys. And it'd be a good test for you guys to really see where you stack up. We'll see. Let's see. John Livingston. Oh man. Hold on a second. Yeah. You did get me. Oh man. My guy. First of all, I should have known because the color. His color isn't pink, it's orange. So that should have been the first giveaway. But I should have known because normally when he talks about it always comes back somehow to the Bills, and it didn't. But you did get me. You got me good. He says, "Nah, Lou, you 0 for 3. You already got." Touche. Tip my cap to you. Touche. You got me. You got me good. You got me. Anyway, Big Money Sonny. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, my guy, Big Money Sonny. Right. Don't fret, Lou. But we got this JL Smooth. Yeah. I just realized I got. I just realized I got. Oh, and yeah, Sunday ticket chat. So I wasn't the only one. Okay, so I feel so much better because I was like, maybe this was something on my end, but I'm like, my connection is ironclad. So I was like, but I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping. He says, why do I keep paying for this garbage? I don't know what the hell was up. That's the first time that's ever happened to me like that. And if I was paying for Sunday ticket, they would be hearing from me. I would need a discount because that was bullshit. But I'm not paying for it. So I can't complain about something that I don't pay for. So, but that was trash today. I was really disappointed because now I got to go back and watch 4 games that I would have already had under my belt had Sunday ticket been working properly like it normally does. So, yeah. Big Money Sonny. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, my guy. Big Money Sonny. Is this even really Big Money? No, it's really Sonny. See, he made you laugh, Lou. Yeah, you got me. You got me. See, I told you it was going to have to be something different that was going to get me, and you got me. Anyway. Jason Rogers, my guy, Uncle Jay. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Right. Sunday ticket was a mess. Missed most of the Washington game. See, that's why I got to draw the line, because had I been out of market and I got Sunday ticket for the specific purpose of watching my favorite team, and it did that to me, you going to give me a discount. You going to knock off some of this Sunday ticket bill. Like, that's inexcusable. The only reason I wasn't bitching and complaining again is because, 1, I don't pay for it. And 2, I'm not watching my team's game on Sunday ticket. I'm watching other games on Sunday ticket. I've got Washington on one screen and whatever's on CBS on the other screen. Usually it's the Ravens game because that's the other close team in the market. And so I was watching those 2 games. But if I were out of market and I'm relying on Sunday ticket and that shit happened, there would be a problem. Somebody's going to refund me something today, because that was ridiculous. Sunday ticket was, and they're on their way out. The NFL is looking for a brand new partner to take over the Sunday ticket from DirecTV. So whomever is the biggest, the highest bidder is going to end up having that package. I think it starts next year, if they haven't already sold it off to somebody else. So maybe Sunday ticket is tripping now because they're like, yeah, we ain't gonna have this shit after next year anyway. We don't give a damn. Because that was piss poor today. Big Money Sonny. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Big Money Sonny, writes, check the DirecTV Twitter feed. It's ridiculous. People was probably going in on them, and they deserved it. That was awful today. I'm going to check too, just for shits and giggles, because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of pissed off people today that missed a lot of football games because of how that shit was working. And I was tripping. I thought it was just me. I refreshed it like 25,000 times. It would be on for like a minute, and then it would freeze, and then it would go to the little basic direct TV screen, and it would say, sorry, you're not able to view this game right now. Please try back later. And I'm like, what are you talking about? So then, they got me out here erasing cookies and starting in and got to put the password in all over again and all that shit. Thinking maybe it's something on my end. Maybe the cache is, a little off or something. I'm gonna get clean all of that shit. Nope. It was just Sunday Ticket. Tripping. I feel a lot better now. Thank you for that. Big Money Sonny, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, my guy. Big Money Sonny writes, Lou, I paid for the Sunday Ticket for basically over 20 years now, it seems. I pay for it because I love my squad. They're going to do me like this? Exactly. And you could either be talking about Washington or DirecTV. Both of them did you dirty today. So it don't really matter which one of them you're talking about. They both did you dirty today. All right. Niners fan says, Lance done for the year. Here we go again with Jimmy. At this point, I'm not even sure if it's his last ride with us. He's inevitable. You can't get rid of him, huh? So his ceiling on the season has been lowered, floor raised. So I think last week you felt like this was a 8-9 win team somewhere in there. So if you feel like the floor has been raised, I don't think you ever really truly said what the floor was. You just told me what you thought the ceiling was, which was 8 or 9 wins. I'm assuming with Lance, the floor could have easily have been maybe 5 or 6 wins in your estimation. Now that Jimmy G's here, there's no way you're winning or losing. There's no way you're winning less than 7 or 8 games. I think you feel like with Lance, if he somehow, got hot and turned into this, beast of a quarterback, and Kyle really got a good feel for him, that maybe you could have won 11, 12 games if the defense was playing, outstanding ball. Now with Jimmy G, you probably feel like, there's no way with Jimmy G we're going to win more than 10 games at a bare minimum, but we're not going to lose, we're not going to lose 10 games with Jimmy G, but we probably won't win more than 10 either. So you're probably somewhere in that 8 to 10 win range. We'll see. I'm going to be honest with you. Can I keep it a buck with you? I think that Kyle Shanahan secretly would have preferred to start Jimmy G. So I think he didn't want Trey Lance to get hurt, obviously, and that sucks for the young man. But I think Kyle's like, hell yeah, let's go win us a Super Bowl. Because I think he feels like he can win with Jimmy G. Not consistently, like this isn't like the end-all, be-all for him, but he's like, yo, we would have been in the Super Bowl last year if Jaquaski Tart could catch. We'd be in the Super Bowl. We'd have been in the Super Bowl last year. Anyway, I digress. Big Money Sonny, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, my guy. Big Money Sonny. I literally spent the second half trying to get the stream going. This was worse than losing to the Lions. I spent the entire second half trying to get all of those games out. So I was watching the 4 block. So the quarters, the quadrants, the quarter look. And I had Bucks and Saints in the first quadrant. I had Giants and Panthers in the second quadrant. The lower third quadrant, I had the Steelers and the Patriots. And in the far corner quadrant, I had the Jags and the Colts. So I had those 4 up. I had Ravens and Dolphins on the alternate TV. And then on the big TV, I had Washington and Detroit. And I literally spent the entire second half refreshing, starting it over again. I spent the entire halftime troubleshooting, trying to figure it out if I needed to, reset the cache, all of that stuff, and nothing. It would come on for a minute or two, and then it would freeze up on me. So yeah, it was a mess. All right. So I think this is really my guy, JL Smooth right here. It's not pink, but I don't know. I don't know what to think anymore. Okay. You guys are so tricky now with your name changes and shit. It's not pink, which is luck, but I don't know. Y'all, it's so many of y'all now. All of y'all be in on this shit too. So I don't know who to trust anymore. Anyway, what in the tarnation is happening? 105.3 is a closed frequency, y'all. I think that sounds like my guy JL Smooth. Says, anyway, hope we handle Biz without Oliver, Settle, and maybe Gabe Davis. I saw that Gabe Davis, I didn't even think anything was wrong with him, but I saw that he had something. I don't know if it was an ankle or whatever, but I saw that was something that he was nursing to see if he was going to play. And we know Oliver had the injury in week 1 against the Rams as well. He came out of the game. We'll see what happens. I think y'all, whatever the case may be, I think y'all are going to win the game. Small money, Sonny. Small money, Sonny. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Small money, Sonny says. Say on your toes, I come from many angles. You got me, man. You got me. You got me to laugh. Big Money Sonny, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. I got Big Money Sonny writes, Big Dog, you roasted more than baked ziti. Yeah, I got cooked tonight. I got cooked tonight pretty good. Yeah, I got cooked. That was really my guy JL Smooth. I could tell by how he worded everything. And like I said, he might start out talking Washington briefly, but he always brings it back full circle to the Bills. So yeah, y'all got me tonight. I should have known though. Anyway, I can't with y'all. Jason Rogers, my guy. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for the super chat. Uncle Jay, who writes, Sonny not lying. I'm from New Jersey. I literally use the radio option in the NFL app. That's crazy, man. It's 2022, and you literally had to use a radio to listen to the game. That's dumb. And that should never be the case, especially if you spending your hard-earned money to get the feed and be able to watch it. Like I said, you need to be compensated for that. And no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They need to compensate y'all for that. That's trash. I would assume that there's a certain amount of money that it costs. You should be able to split that up into 17, divided by 17 weeks, and take one of those weeks to say, hey, I need y'all to reimburse me X amount of dollars. Let's say Sunday ticket is $250 for the season. I don't know how much it is. Divide that by 17, and let's say that that's $16. I want my 16 damn dollars. That's bullshit. Straight up. Anyway, I digress. All right. I'm about to get out of here. Y'all are some fools, man. I can't with y'all. Hey, JL Smooth, they've been playing me all night. They've been playing me as you. And I fell for a hook, line, and sinker. I feel like a dummy because I should have known better, man. I should have known better. So you're right. That's a closed frequency, and they somehow got in there, man, and they got me. I'll be better. They caught me at my weakest moments. That's what they did. They took advantage of me. Anyway, I digress. Big Money Sonny, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, last week, apparently Sunday ticket didn't work for the 4:00 games. It's honestly disrespectful and uncalled for. Trash. So obviously I don't get to watch the 4:00 games. I'm on with you guys after the game at 1. So I wouldn't know that they had issues at 4. It worked perfectly fine for me during the 1:00 games last week. So I had no idea that there were any technical difficulties at 4 last week, but it was a mess today. I'm going to look at the DirecTV Twitter feed too. I'm anxious to see. They probably got absolutely wrecked on social media, and they deserve it. That was trash. Anyway, that's going to do it for me, your man, Louie T. We talked about everything but the Packers and Bears game tonight, and for good reason. It wasn't a great game. I will say this. The Bears made it interesting early. The Packers destroyed them in the second quarter, scored 3 touchdowns. And, it was 7-3 at the end of 1. By the time we got to halftime, it was 24-7. It got interesting there for a second after, the miss, the botched exchange from Rodgers and A.J. Dillon. And then Justin Fields coming within inches. I thought he actually scored, to be honest with you. Cutting into a 1-score game, but we don't need to see this anymore. Packers dominated this game 27-10. Win this one going away. I like that Bears defense. I'll say that. And I like this Packers defense too. I think the Packers are really good defensively. If they can stay healthy, man, they got some players on that side of the ball, man. Some really, really good players on the defensive side of the football. So this might be the best Packers defense that they've had. And then coincidentally enough, I think this may be one of the worst offenses that they've had. So it kind of goes hand in hand, not hand in hand, kind of offsets the bump that you may get from the defense being as good as it may be, with the offense kind of taking a step back. Keep in mind, Aaron Rodgers was the league MVP the last 2 years. He will not be anywhere near league MVP this year. So take it for what it's worth. Matt Eberflus actually looks like he may be a solid NFL head coach. He's got this Bears team playing ball. And my one prerequisite for any coach that gets a job that's a defensive-minded guy is that your defense actually be good, and it looks like Matt Eberflus's defense is going to be good. So looks like he's going to hold up his end of the bargain. And I think what ultimately is going to happen, which usually happens to these defensive-minded coaches when they end up getting fired, is the offense just isn't good enough. A lot of times they don't have a quarterback, and in this case, they may have a quarterback. Jury's still out on Justin Fields. They don't have any skill guys for him to get the football to. So defense is going to keep them in a lot of ball games. Unfortunately, I don't think they're going to be able to score enough points. That was the case tonight. I think it's going to be the case for much of the season, but we will see. Packers get their first win of the season, 27-10. They're now 1-1. So are the Bears after this game. And so we'll see what happens in that division. Vikings play tonight against the Philadelphia Eagles on the road. The Vikings win, they go straight to the top of the division at 2-0. They lose, everyone in the division is 1-1. So we'll see what happens there. Anyway, I digress. Abdallah, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up, Abdallah, who writes, Lou, do you think we will finally change our defense? No, they're not changing the defense. Again, it's too late for that. In order to change your defense, you got to do that in the offseason. The question is, are they going to make personnel changes with the defense. This guy out for this guy, sub this guy in for that guy. They could do that, but I don't. It's too early to do that as well. It's too early for that too. We're only 2 games into the season, one of which we won. So I don't see that happening. Kevin the PRF, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up, Kevin the PRF, who writes, please screenshot me the look on the face of the DirecTV rep when you say, I want my damn $16. I would be adamant about that. Give me my goddamn $16 back. I would be pissed off. And if you really want to be ignorant, you could demand more than just the price of, what 1 week is worth. If you really wanted to get belligerent, like, hey, either give me XYZ amount of dollars or I'm canceling direct. But see, this is the thing. I hate when people make empty threats. Don't make empty threats. Okay. Like, people will always threaten Sprint back in the day. Hey, if y'all don't give me an extension on my bill, I'm going to Verizon. No, you're not. Because Verizon ain't going to work with your monkey ass. They just going to cut your shit off. You ain't going nowhere. Sprint going to keep working with you, keep giving you these damn extensions. You ain't going nowhere. Don't make empty threats. Don't tell them, hey, if you don't give me back $50 from this, Sunday ticket, I'm getting rid of it. No, you're not, because then you ain't going to be able to watch your favorite team. Don't make empty threats. So, yeah, you got to be reasonable. Give me my damn $16 back. Credit that shit to my account. Big Money Sonny, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, my guy. Big Money Sonny. You know what, Sonny? You ain't shit either, man, because you knew Luck was over here getting me, and you let him get me. You was supposed to give me a heads up or something. Sorry, but salutes to Luck for making you smile and bringing some mother effing laughter tonight. Peace, Lou. We love you. Likewise, man. I really appreciate all of y'all, man. Small Money Sonny. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate your rights. Black King and 2 others were saying you were BS on Rio's stream. Don't worry, Lou. I went the F in on them. It's all love over here, Lou. Best content on YouTube. I saw that clown in the comment section. I don't let trolls get to me. It's always going to be trolls. As long as we live and breathe, it's always going to be somebody that hate for no reason. So I learned a long time ago, just you don't feed the trolls. They look for attention. They yearn for that attention. You ignore them, they go away. So he doesn't bother me one bit. I appreciate you, though, as always. Anyway, y'all enjoy the rest of y'all night. And I will see you guys tomorrow. We got 2 Monday night games. I think how I'm going to handle that is I'm just going to do one stream and combine the 2 games. I don't think I'm going to come on live because literally after the Titans-Bills game goes off, we'll probably be in the 4th quarter of the Eagles game, if not going to the 4th quarter. So no reason to come on live when the other game is on. I think I'm going to just combine the 2 of those together. So I'll see you tomorrow night for that. I doubt I'll have a podcast tomorrow. It'll probably be Tuesday because I got a lot of football to watch. So anyway, you know what it is. Big Money Sonny, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, my guy. Big Money Sonny. Right. Mob, number 1, stand up. Salutes to the Cherry Squad. Y'all know what it is. Y'all have a great night. Take care. I'm going off into solitude to watch and sulk in this loss. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all night. God bless and good night.
LouieT.